Hey, Connecticut, it's Johnny Flynn. We'd had a monumental day yesterday. I'd like to explain why. If you look behind me, Mayor Martin, Democrat for Mayor of Stamford, lost his primary to a woman. Now, there'll be a runoff in November between she and Bobby Valentine. Bobby Valentine is running as an independent, and he will get 99% of the vote, is my guess. What you need to know is they're setting up a panel to hear 25 misconduct cases a year for the police. But I'm going to put that article on the screen in a moment. What you need to realize is that Mayor Martin negotiated with Valerie Barrier. Mayor Martin was a defendant in a trial, Valerie a plaintiff. Colangelo was a defendant, Valerie a plaintiff. Martin Colangelo bribed the mother of a murder victim and robbed the father of a murder victim. So when you look at the cases and who they're picking, I'm going to show you an article in a moment. Hymes's office is 50 feet from Martin, okay? Hymes is in charge of covering up securities fraud in a hedge fund state with Diallo, Blackwater, all the big funds in Connecticut have people at the church in New Canaan on 123 at the border of New York that are doing money raising for all our state senators, are basically getting this machine running, and Shipman and Goodman is involved. So is Halloran and Sage. So when you look at what I'm about to describe in this letter, you need to realize that they're empowering their own people to investigate the murders that they're paying bribes on, okay? Yeah, it's bold. But look again, Martin's office is next to Hymes. Hymes has oversight of FBI, NSA. Hymes had oversight of Comey at the FBI, referred Comey to Washington. Comey is a criminal, folks. Now, look at the names. Brennan. Look at the names of the people they're recommending for position and what positions they held in the past, and you will realize that this is a massive cover-up plan. And fine and dandy, let them step forward. Let them explain to us where the evidence is, why Winneman saw the murder snuff video, why Valerie Barrier wrote Blumenthal multiple times about the murder, and then magically a check for $30 million shows up and pays the state's attorney a bribe of $1.5 million. So I've been pretty vocal about it. It's the tip of the iceberg, really. It is the tip of the iceberg. There are so many cases you need to be looking at. This is one, okay? I'm starting with one. I don't know how many we'll get to, but let's go to some of the facts. Here we go. These are the articles. Well, actually, here. This is the article. This is Liam Brennan, okay? He's mentioned in the article. Here's the article. Meet the people. Here we go. Let's make it a large picture. There you go. Meet the people who want to police the police. Okay? I asked to be on this panel, of course. It's never going to happen. But Austin Ryan McGuire, former state prosecutor in New Britain and Stamford, now represents criminal and civil clients. Trial referee judge Robert Devlin, who is chair of the Sentencing Commission. The person who's letting everyone out of jail, all the white males, and incarcerating many more black and Latino people, is now in charge, folks. Federal Public Defense Attorney Moira Buckley, Connecticut Veterans Legal Center Executive Liam Brennan, will publicly be interviewed on September 27th. That's 11 days from now, okay? The four were chosen by criminal justice September 9 after an application period. They're pleased. They're not qualified. They're in charge of what's been happening in the past, and they're going to prolong it, and they're progressives, folks. Here we go. Devlin, a former federal prosecutor, served as a judicial branch chief administrative judge for criminal matters during his tenure. Okay? The state's appellate court until he retired in 2020. I have 62 appeals filed, and I've never heard a single thing from the appellate court. He's never called me back, nor have they answered any letters, any emails. There's a new guy there now, and he's a problem, okay? So Buckley was in private practice at Shipman and Goodman. They support Rilling. 50 attorneys per election cycle give him $1,000 each. Why? Because Shipman and Goodman is a lobbyist in Connecticut operating for the DNC along with other law firms that should not be. For example, Biff Halloran was a made man in the Gambino crime family. Ed Halloran runs Halloran and Sage, whose money started a law firm from the profits of rigging cement prices in Manhattan. Look for Biff Halloran's body, folks. You'll never find it. He was indicted and he disappeared. He was disappeared, folks. So here we go. Look. They arrested and prosecuted John Rowland, of course, because he's a Republican. Meanwhile, John Rowland never paid a bribe to cover up a murder, folks. So the public will be allowed to provide input, and the candidates have been interviewed during a special meeting of the Criminal Justice Commission on September 27th. The commission will go on to executive session to make the choice, McDonald said. Do you know who McDonald is? McDonald hates the Catholic Church. McDonald is gay. Obviously, he has resentment for a church that thinks what they think. So I'm not siding with the church on this one, that's for sure. But you need to look at what the ACLU is doing, who at Black Lives Matter is being bribed by Lamont, and who at the NAACP is being bribed by Tong and Lamont. And I'm not pulling any punches on this. I will be at that meeting. You should go there. You should research these people, and you should have them indicted as well. Because anyone that McDonald promotes is obviously a Sith Lord in the working for, Darth Vader and his cabal. Need I say more? So we're glad Martin lost his primary. Here you go. Martin lost his primary. However, it's setting the stage for Bobby Valentine, an extremely lovely gentleman who is highly qualified, and he should get 99% of the vote. Anyone who votes for that woman, I haven't researched her yet. I'm looking into it now. I'm glad she beat him in the primary. Thank you very much. But we cannot have what's happening in Connecticut continue to happen in Connecticut. I'm at 9 minutes. I made a video. I'm going to put it out there. I really don't care. And the problem with Hymes's office across from the mayor of Stamford is that he's covering up hundreds of thousands of financial crimes committed by attorneys empowered by the FBI and local municipalities. Oh yes, and who's at Shipman and Goodman? You should look at it. Who's at Halloran and Sage? You should look at it. Shipman and Goodman, isn't that the vaccine lobby guy? Isn't that Matt and the mother and the father? Isn't that what's going on in Connecticut? Taking away your religious exemption? Why? Because of McDonald, who wants to open the books of the Catholic charities, open the books of what Catholics do, take away the separation from church and state. He wants the church to comply with the state, including paying for abortion, a lot of ethical things that McDonald's supports that the church will never support. So if you support the unborn and don't allow abortion in the third trimester, these Democrats support partial birth abortion, okay? And they won't resuscitate a baby that survives a botched abortion. Here we go. Stephen Barrier was tortured, tasered under the neck, tasered in the temples, tasered in the back of the head. The body's in an unmarked grave, which is very hard to subpoena, to dig up and do an autopsy, which was falsified, that said no bruising. And John Nickerson, who leaked Colangelo's falsified autopsy written by Gill when it was Hayes' job. Hayes is the chief medical examiner of Connecticut. Hayes said the autopsy was falsely leaked to John Nickerson, who got fired. He's a great guy. He's a friend of mine. I've been to cocktail parties at his house. Here we go. If you go by Darien and on West Ave, past Rings End, and you pass the People's Bank, the next house is John Nickerson. Stellar writer for the Stamford Advocate for 25 years. Let go. Why? Leaks about murder evidence where there's a bribe with the governor. And I meant to finish this at 9 minutes, but I'm happy to go 12. And I need your support, of course, and we're getting it. But we need to friend each other, share critical comments, post, comment, share. Post, comment, share. Contribute later, okay? We're going to get as far as we can for this election on no money, but Blumenthal's raising $700,000 a month, and if we don't challenge him, he's going to spend that money getting every other GOP seat in the state's legislature, in the General Assembly, and the state Senate. And you know who's messing up here? There's a handful of people messing up here. If they don't change their tune, they're going to be called out on it. Have a great day. Nothing to lose. Nothing but net. I'll make the three-point shot, no doubt. Buzzer beater. It's coming. Have a great day. I appreciate everything you're doing. And win with Flynn. You need to support Mike France. You need to support Matt Harper, who I just met, running for mayor of Manchester. Larry Laser, who I just met, running for Congress. Who did I forget? George Logan, running for Congress. And most of all, Dominic Rapini, Secretary of State, because if he doesn't win, your vote will never count in Connecticut. Why? Because of H.R. 1. Why? Because Himes, DeLauro, Hayes, Courtney, and Larson co-sponsored H.R. 1. It passed the House. They want ballot harvesting, same-day registration with no ID, 6-to-1 money matching. That means if you give a $50 campaign contribution to Himes, he'll get $300 from a total of $300 from the federal government matching, which he doesn't need, which Blumenthal doesn't need. Building a war chest to buy, purchase, and bribe people to get what they want. Look what they're bribing over. They took bribes on OxyContin, folks, and Purdue Pharma siphoned $10 billion off the company, and Tong's taken over Purdue Pharma so he can be in charge of OxyContin. Folks, they want the heroin. Look what they're doing in Afghanistan. They just gave the heroin to the Taliban. Now we have to pay bribes to Iran, according to Blumenthal and Murphy, to get their compliance. My friends, they've got their centrifuges working. They're going to have nukes in about 3 weeks. 3 weeks. We have 3 weeks. And don't tell me they're not being extorted right now, because they are being extorted right now. Have a great day. If you don't know the facts, you need to follow this page. You need to find out about the Clinton Global Initiative, the $550 million that went to that Senator Hillary paid her, that the Abraj Group paid her husband Bill about, with the K Container ship industry and what's happening with the container ships. If you think they're offshore, there's 56 container ships, freight vessels off the shore of California. Why do you think that is? Because they're checking for nukes. Hello, have a great day.